All right, so good morning. I'm Mrs. Prohaska, for those of you who don't know me, which is all of you. I am a math teacher at the high school. And what I'm going to show you today is just some simple things to do on Excel that you might use in research when you are doing your science projects. I don't know how many of you are familiar with, and this is Excel. In Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, not the iExcel that you guys do the math programs with. Does anyone use Excel, or have you used it in a class maybe? Yes. So there's some, you guys learned about it, okay. There's some very quick tricks to finding some information that you need to find in Excel, finding sum, mean. I'm going to talk about what standard deviation is. You're not going to have to know too much about that, but I'll show you how to find it. The difference of two cells, the square of a cell, changing a decimal to a percent, and creating a bar graph. And a lot of that you might already know. But Ms. Shade was saying to me, she wants you to know how to do all these quick shortcuts, so you're not spending a lot of time typing in things that you don't need to type in. Okay, so this is just going to be very basic. Some of the older kids said that they've used these in their projects, because what they do is when they write their science projects, they actually have to put the information that they find in Excel, the data, they have to put that in to their project, their graphs and their averages and their sums and things like that. It gets way more complicated. There's a lot of tests that you can use, a lot of statistical tests to prove that your data that you're finding is significant, and you'll get to that next year when you're well, you're 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. When you're getting into the high school and you're getting into the biomedical classes, you'll do the more complicated things, okay? So this is just the basic. And now I gave everyone a piece of paper that has what we're going to go over. You can write on if you want or not. This is totally up to you. However, everything I'm showing you today is in Schoology. So if you lose this piece of paper, don't worry about it. So are we all on the Schoology page? And our computer's finally logged in. Okay. So we're going to go to resources. Down there on the bottom, below members. And seminars, summer 2018. Statistical analysis, the red folder. And you're up at the top, level 1. And what we're going to do, see the first document there? That's the paper I just gave you. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to open up the second document, which is the Excel document. So click on that. And then we're actually going to download it. Anyone not have that up yet? And the downloads over there, that arrow, because we're going to want to work in Excel. So you're going to open it with Microsoft Excel. I don't know which page yours opens on. Did yours open on that page as well?
It's slow.
Slow.
Still downloading.
Oh, mine's
No, yeah, it's still.
Everybody's still getting in.
Yeah.
So at the bottom, can you see it says bar graphs and then it says sum, mean, SD. We're going to click on where it says sum, mean, and SD. What I've done for you is I already put the data in. And I color coded it and I made it all pretty looking because I don't want you to spend a lot of time today typing in the numbers. However, when this becomes your project, you're going to have to probably type these numbers in. Some of the older kids were telling me though, when they wanted to use a certain significance test, Mr. Sirfas just sent them a file with the formulas already in, and all they had to do was enter their data, which was really nice. So I'm kind of doing the reverse with you. I'm putting the data in. I'm going to say we had 4 trials, and this is the information that came out of the trials, 55, 57, 47, 55, 68, 52. Maybe we're finding how many push-ups somebody can do in a minute. Oh, I don't know if I could do 55 in a minute, but we'll pretend that's what it is. How many push-ups someone did in a minute. Let's do sit-ups. That's more doable. I think we can do 55 in a minute. So I already put the information in, we're gonna say that's X, and I'm gonna show you how to find the sum. Now, if this was regular math class, how would you find the sum? What would you do? Regular math class. What am I gonna do with all my numbers? Yes, ma'am?
Add them all together.
You're gonna add them all up, okay? And you could add them in your head, but most likely you're gonna use your calculator. But you're gonna have the Excel program do that for you. So what we're gonna do is where it says sum, you're gonna take your cursor, and you're gonna click on B8. You see how that's kind of highlighted now? That's where we're gonna find the sum. And whenever you're asking Excel to do anything for you, find the sum, find the difference, find the number for you, you always have to start with equals, okay? So we're gonna start with an equal sign, all right? And then after that, you're gonna write the word sum, S-U-M. And some things are gonna come up as soon as you hit S, but S-U-M, sum. And then you're gonna do a parenthesis. Now I wanted to add B2, which B2 is kind of off to the side on the screen, but you should be able to see it. B2 is 55, and then B3, and then B4, then B5, all the way down to B7. But you don't have to type that in. You don't even have to type B2 in. This is all you have to do. Take your cursor, go up to 55. Click on it, see how it highlights? Drag it down to 52 and let go. Hit enter. 334. I'm going to do it again. There's a button that I love in Excel. There's a button I love in Microsoft Word. It's called undo. Do you know where the undo button is? Up top, see that arrow? Undo. Okay? I love that button. Because if you screw something up, you just hit undo and it'll undo it for you. So I'm going to do it one more time. I'll show you again. Equals S-U-M for sum. Let me put my M. And then you have to have a parenthesis, open parenthesis. So you want to click on the 55, which is B2. See how it highlights? Come all the way down to 52, let go, and hit enter. So let's try that over here. You want to try to do it for the green column. So in the green column, we're going to add up, instead of B2 to B7, we're going to add up E2 to E7. Those are the cells. What do I always start with? Equal sign. S-U-M. Parentheses. Go up to 77. Make sure you have a white back cross, I call it. And then come down to 98, let go, hit enter, 462. Yep. Okay, let's do it in tile 3. And there's a way to drag the formula over, and I'm going to show you that in the last one, so we don't have to do this every time. Well, can you make that dark for me, because Mrs. Braska cannot see. I'll go to resources. And statistical analysis. Thank you. Oh, or go to seminar.
But once that
And
downloads, you
statistical
want
analysis.
to click that down.
Level 1.
There, okay, once it's up. So.
And then there's going to be an Excel.
This is someone. You see when I put the parentheses?
Oh, it is thinking.
Prompts.
Oh, and you want it down and first.
So once you
Make it
equal
right
sum,
over there.
open
For that
parentheses.
down there. And when that opens, you're going to down, you know how to do that. And then
And see how I'll put the cells in there? And then I can do close parentheses.
you know how to put that one? You want to click
So
on the
you want
green
to
one?
do this, click on the cell here. And up here.
So what I'm gonna do for you is, I'm gonna do that green, I'm gonna do that green one again, clear that out. So
Open
equals,
parentheses, so shift
Sum.
9.
parenthesis,
Highlight these columns. Yep.
go up to 77,
Yep.
have it highlight,
Parentheses and
drag it down, let go.
got it.
Yeah, I know, the dragging part is like, you just gotta get the feel for that. And see, I have my mouse, so I can't see this part, that's hard for me to. There you go, there you go, there you go.
And then
Go, go,
as
go,
it
there you go.
downloads,
Let go, let
We're
go.
gonna save it
Let
and
go.
we're gonna open that.
And now hit enter.
Sit. Oh, you already did that.
Yeah, you got it. 462. Now,
I agree, I have a mouse too.
I can't, yeah, the thing at the bottom, let's see.
You slow down. Say, oh,
Right. Well, that's great, see, you know more about this, and I'm going to do it a little bit. But that's cool, yeah, if you guys know some quicker ways, absolutely use that. And there's also a way to drag the formula, like instead of having to do it again. The only thing is, I don't want to drag it, like if I got a little cross like this, forget it, I can't move up there, look here. If I get a little thin black cross and I drag this all the way over to the blue, it'll actually give me the sum of the blue column, but it also gave me the sum of these two columns, which I don't want. So you can do that. You can drag a formula over so that you don't have to retype it again. But since I don't want the sum of those other two columns, it dragged it all the way through. You want to try it for the blue and the red as well? What was your name? You found that other way.
do that here.
Oh, Holden.
Equals.
Yeah, Holden found a different way, which is a little more advanced, and that's cool too. So if you know better ways, definitely, or quicker ways, definitely go for it. So equals sum, then you gotta tell it,
These rows.
and so you're gonna get the
Perfect, right
53
there.
down to the 43,
There
you're gonna let go.
Go for the blue and the red.
And then one more. And the only reason I color coded them is so that when I said the red column, the blue column would make it easier for us. Oh, hers never came up.
Yeah, we're getting
We're
there.
getting, I think we got the oldest computers in the school. They're used to the nice new computers. Okay? So like you said, just a quick way,
Here, equals.
finding the sum for your column. Now we're gonna find the mean. But the mean is the average. Do you know how to take an average? Did you learn that? You should have learned that for your PSSAs. So I was gonna say PSATs, and I'm like, no, you're not juniors. So how do you take an average? What do you do with all your numbers?
You do equals sum.
Find the sum and then what?
Open parentheses, so shift.
Exactly, but we won't have to do that, because we'll have to do that. But when you type in, you're gonna have to type in, instead of equals mean, you're gonna type in equals average. You're gonna use the word average. So go to the yellow column where it says mean, cell B9, equals. You gotta type average, parenthesis. Hold it there for a second. And you're gonna take the average of the same information, B2 to B7. Make sure you don't go down and grab B8 because B8 is the sum and we don't want that. Same way, drag it down, enter. Got your average. Try it again for each one. Again, you could drag the, you know, if you wanted to, I guess you could drag the formula
You could,
over
yes.
and then just delete it out of here. But then look, it messes up my colors. I don't like that. But you could drag your formula over, so I'm gonna undo that. I'll try to show you again here in the green column. So E9 equals average, parentheses, highlight, let go. And you just have to do it for the rest of them. Absolutely. But the blue column equals
Good.
the average. Holden, you get, in that formulas, can you do the mean like that as well?
Yeah.
Nice. also gonna do, after we're done here at 10 o'clock, I have the file that with all of the formulas already in and the answers already in, and then I'm gonna add that to Schoology. So then, if you wanted to practice it again, because we're not gonna save this or anything, if you wanted to practice it on your own, you would have the file with all the answers in it as well.
So it's like what you keep talking about.
So the last thing I'm gonna talk about is, so the average person, let's just say, can do 55.7 sit-ups
Or maybe not.
in a minute. Okay, average person. And then in trial 2, that average group can do 77 sit-ups. And then in trial 3, that group can do 51.8. I don't know how you do 0.8 of a sit-up. Maybe you like were almost up there and then the bell rang or something. And in trial 4, the average is 57. Okay, so we're going to find something called the standard deviation. And like I said, you won't use this quite yet, but you will start talking about it. Mrs. Kissling, I don't know, do they talk about standard deviation at all yet in the middle school?
I don't know that they do.
You probably don't.
No.
It just shows how the data is spread out. It tells you, looking at a standard way of knowing like what is normal and is the data really spread out or is the data really close together. That's the basics of standard deviation. So I'm just going to show you how to calculate it, and then when you start to hear about it, I know in ag, when you're going to have ag in 9th grade, you're going to start working with standard deviation because I know that I have kids ask me about it. So you'll see these words again, or hear these words again. So standard deviation, to find it, and again, it's just a number. To mathematically find standard deviation, you would need this whole piece of paper and then some. It is a long process mathematically to find it. So you're going to be happy to know a shortcut, believe me. Because you have to find the mean, and then what you would do is you would have to take every single number, and we're going to do that, and subtract it from the mean, and then we're going to square that number, then we would have to add that up again, take that average, and then take the square root. But we're going to do it in one little button. So you'll be contacting me your freshman year, Mrs. Braska, can you remind me how we did that on the Excel? And it can be done on the graphic calculator. So what you're going to do, again, go to the yellow column, B10, so you have equals, and you just type in STDEV, standard deviation. Don't type the whole word out. And parentheses. Same thing, B2 to B7, you're going to highlight from the 55 down to the 52, let go, hit enter, and the standard deviation is 7, so it tells you how far the data is spread from the mean, how far it's spread out. And it also will be significant too if your means are close but your standard deviations are farther away. That means that certain data is more significant than other data. Again, I'm going into more than you'll need, but these things will come back to you. Just kind of remember that summer when I was talking about stuff that you didn't understand. It'll come back, I promise you. So I'm going to find my green column. So E10 equals STDEV, for standard deviation, parentheses. And we'll go from there. E2 to E7, enter. And if it doesn't come out right or you type something in wrong, use that undo button that's up there, because I love that button. Fan that. And you could drag the formula. Again, I don't want to drag in those columns, so we need other answers. Drag down, so we need H2 to H7. Enter, and we'll do our right column. The other two columns, X is the number in the yellow column, like 55, 57, 47, the number of sit-ups a person could do. And we're going to subtract that each time from the mean that we just found. And the reason I put those two other columns in is because there's a test that you do, let me think, is it called the chi-square test? It probably doesn't matter to you. But there is a significance test that the level 3s are using, and they actually needed this information. They had to subtract the mean from every single data point in the set and then square the mean and go from there. So this was part of a more advanced significance test. So I thought, well, let's just do like a little piece of it and let's just see how that works. So I want to take 55, 57, 47 and I want to subtract them from that number 55.7. So I want to subtract it from the cell B9. I want to take my cell B2 and subtract it from B9. Don't do what I'm about to do, because this is not right. But I want to show you what we need to do to make it right. So I'm going to go to C2, and I'm going to write equals, and I'm going to type in B2, because that's the cell I want to subtract, that's my x, minus B9. Now that's going to give me the right answer. But I can't just drag my formula down now, like I'm going to show you how to do this, because I'll have to retype. If I want to just drag my formula down, it's not going to work. Like taking this little black cross and dragging this down is not going to give me the right information, okay? Because that's not right. 57 subtracted from 55.7 is not 50, okay? So, and I don't want to have to retype that. That's like 5 columns. How about if you have a data set that's 25, 30 pieces of information? Do you want to have to type this every single time? No. So I'm going to clear that out. And what you do is, I'm going to start in, now you can do what I'm doing. We're in C2, we're going to hit equals. And you have to capitalize. We're going to do B2 minus, and then you're going to type in B, and you need a number symbol above the $4 sign. I'm sorry, not number symbol, dollar sign, 9. I'll leave it up there so you can see what I did. It keeps the B9 consistent throughout the formula when you drag it down. Hit enter, it's going to give me the same answer I had before. So that's true, 55 minus 55.7 is a negative 0.7. But now instead of typing that in every single time, I'm going to click on that cell again. Now don't get the white cross, you want to get the little thin black cross. Left click, not left click, left hold. Drag it down and release it. So what I did was, let me undo that so you can see what I did again. So get a little black cross, left hold, drag it down next to the 52, release, and it'll take every single number in your data set and subtract it from the mean without you having to type it yourself, which is something you're going to have to do. So let's
do the,
with that
so I know the drag and drop will change the formula down, but
Mhm.
what did you type in for the function for the top?
right there. I have
B2
B2 minus B dollar sign.
What does the dollar sign do?
It keeps it consistent. It keeps you subtracting from B9 every single
Oh.
time. Because did you see when I dragged it before?
Well, drag and drop I know will change it, but I didn't know that dollar
That
sign.
keeps it consistent. I didn't either. I learned that doing these significance tests. Because I used Excel most of my adult life, and I never knew about that. I think I would retype the formula actually every single time.
Well, sometimes I know you can drag and drop and
And it works perfectly.
but sometimes it doesn't. But
Yeah.
that probably keeps it consistent.
It keeps it consistent.
Wow.
I know! We learn something new every day. So let's come over here in F2 and let's just practice. We'll just do one more column, maybe we won't do every single one. Let's practice doing that again. We're going to do equals, and we're going to subtract that mean now, which is 77. And we're going to take E2, not 3, E2 minus, and we want to subtract E9. So we're going to do E dollar sign
Wow.
9. And I got 0. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because 77 is the x and the mean is 77, so it should get 0. And then if you go back up to that cell F2, get a little black cross, left hold, drag it down and release. It'll subtract them all for you, keeping it consistent.
If you guys can manage, all of Excel is knowing how to enter in functions properly
Uh-huh.
and dragging and dropping and highlighting and entering in functions. If you can master this part, just doing that equals and the cell numbers, all the advanced statistics Mr. Haskell is mentioning is just taking that and applying it in different ways. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's just based on this. So if you can do this, you can do anything.
And if you
Excel.
type it wrong, I don't know if anybody got a message, it'll tell you.
It'll yell at you.
It'll tell you your formula's wrong, it's like, no. And here's the thing I told the level 3s. You know, if you're trying to figure this out and you can't, you know where you can find the information? YouTube. YouTube has every kind, and you probably already did that. It has everything you want to know about how to make the simplest graphs, charts, anything you want to do in Excel. You just type that in, and it will show you how to do that. So we don't have to do it on the other ones. We can go back to those if you want to just to practice it again. But now I want to show you how to take this number, -0.7, and what I want to do is I want to square that. Like if I asked you to square a number, let's take a number like 5, and I asked you to square 5, what would I get as my answer? 5 squared, 25, 5 times 5, right, but these are decimals. So, you want to do those in your head for me? No, you do not. Nobody wants to do decimals in their heads. So, we're going to have Excel do it for us. Now, this isn't so much a formula, but we are going to start with an equals. You always have to start with an equals. And then you want to take the cell C2, and you're going to square it. And to use a square, you look above the 6. It's like a little upside down V. If you hit Shift 6, you get the I call it caret. I was always told it was called caret, upside down V. And then hit 2, because you want to square it, and it squares the number for you. So I'll go back up and show you it. When I click on it, the formula is there. Something very important about Excel, if someone gave you a file and said, oh, here you go, all the formulas are in there, you just have to put the trials in, the X's. You have to be very careful when you delete things, because you may just start deleting things and all of a sudden you've deleted the formulas out. So you got to be careful if the cell has a formula in it. Now for this one, we can drag. We don't have to use that dollar sign. We can drag the formula all the way down. Yes. So equals, and then put C2, and then use the caret, the number above the 6, so Shift 6, get a little upside down V, and then put a 2 there, because you want to square it, enter. And then, now you can just drag that formula down, because you're not asking that cell to subtract another cell, you're just asking that cell to square the cell to the left of it. So if you get the little black cross, drag with left drag, release it, it squares it. So that's when you don't need the dollar sign and you can just drag it along.
It's all good.
And then we'll do one more column. So we'll start with equals. We want to square, I know 0 squared is 0, but we need to put the formula in. So we want to square F2, and then you use the little caret above the 6, and then another 2 squared. You should get 0, because 0 squared is 0. And then get that little thin black cross, drag it down, and I'll square it. Nice.
They are getting number signs, a bunch of number signs.
Oh, okay, I know it. Let's format the cell. So,
Oh, is it the negative?
no, it shouldn't be the negative. Is it wide? No, it should be wide enough. Let's go to, everybody go up to 0, 0, and get a white cross, right click, might be how the cell's formatted. And go down to the bottom where it says Format Cell.
How do you right click on the laptop? Shifts. Oh.
See, now mine says number and decimal places. What does yours say? So it's how the cell is formatted. Yours worked, yeah. Hers didn't work.
How do you right click on the laptop?
I know, with this, right?
Wasn't it just chocolate?
Oh.
Is it?
There we go. So they don't format cell. And that has to do with, sometimes you want your data to have so many decimal places. Maybe we don't want any decimal places, so we would say 0. Maybe we want 5 decimal places. It all depends. Like, you may be doing a report, I'm just gonna change this, and I'm gonna make this 4 decimal places. Well, you don't wanna have that. We don't wanna do that, but you might wanna change that. The other thing in here, if you ever get number signs or you get hashtags, I guess you could call them, it might just be that it's not formatted properly. There's different ways you can format numbers, as money, just general numbers or text is basically just what you would mostly use. You could format numbers as a date. We're going to do things with percentages. So if it gives you that $sign or the hashtag or whatever, it's just because it's not formatted correctly. I mean, there is a million other things you could do with that cell. If you look at this where it says alignment, I could change the alignment where I could have it going the other way, going vertically, which that would be horrible to look at. I don't even like to look at that. So you can change, let me change that back. You can change the font, you can change the color, what's around it, how you fill it. I mean, there is just so many different things that you can do with Excel. Undo, see, I love undo. Undo so great. So if you look at the sheet that I gave you, we basically did sum of a column, difference of 2 cells, square of a cell, the average. We're going to look at changing a decimal to a percent, and then we're just going to look at a bar graph. Okay? So let's go down to the bottom where it says bar graph and click on that. I'm going to show you a nice way, a nice thing Excel does too is we're going to put the months of the year, the months of the calendar in. But instead of typing in every single month, we're only going to type in 2. And then we're going to let it autofill for us. Okay? So if you go up to A2, that's our first cell. You don't even have to type the whole word in. Jan for January. And to the right of that it says 31, because it's 31 days in January. And then we're going to type in a 3, FEB. I'll give you a minute to do that. And that's the only 2 we're going to really need to type in. And February, 28 days, no leaders.
So do January.
Jan and Feb.
Jan.
That's all you need. And then what we can do, go back to January, get that white cross, left hold, kind of highlight January and February like that. Let go. Then go over there and get the little thin black cross in the corner, drag down, let go, fills it all in. Let me do it again. Highlight the 2 of them, little thin right cross, drag down, release, there it is. And you don't have to type them in. Already there for you. I did type in, like I said, I typed in the days of the month. Let's do a total. Let's see if you remember how to sum up. Now we should know what the answer should be there, but let's sum up that column. Column B. What do we start with? Equals sum, parenthesis, highlight them all down. Should we know the answer though?
Yes.
What's the answer? 365. Ooh, we're so good. And we're not gonna have to do that again, we're gonna drag that formula over. What I did to the right there was days of school. I looked at the calendar for next year, 2018, 2019. So that would be January of 2019. So I did the, from January to June, or actually January to August, are the days, or did I use August 2018? No, so January to July would be 2019, and then August, September, October, November, December is 2018. But those are how many days you're going to be in school. So next January, you're going to be in school for 19 days. Well, we can look at August. So for August of 2018, we're only in school for 4 days of August. And then in September, we're 19 days, October, etc. So to find the sum of the days of how many days we're going to be in school next year, you don't have to do that sum formula again, since the columns are right next to each other and there's nothing in between. You can go get the little thin black cross and drag to the right, and it will just drag that formula over and tell you how many days are you going to school next year, going to be in school. 183, yes ma'am. Equal, and then sum. And then you want to go up and highlight the B2. Oh, you got, oh, go ahead. Are you typing that in? Oh, no, then go back up and get the, and now drag it down. Drag and hold, no, it's got to be highlighted. So click again, hold the left down, hold, like this, and then run your finger like that. Oh. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to retype your formula in. So 183 days we're going to be in school next year. Days that you will be coming to school for whatever reason. And that includes half days or whatever, those are the days you're going to be coming exam days, if you have exams, I don't know if you guys have exams. Now the teachers, add 5, or 6. So that's going to be a little different. I'll just wait for everybody to finish up. And then what I'm just going to show you to do is make a percentage. We're going to make a percentage of days in school for the month, and then we'll also do it for the year. Okay? So let's go over to the gray column. D2 is the cell. We'll start with equals. And I'm going to take the days of school, 19, and divide it by the days of the month, 31. So I'm going to do C2. To divide, you just hit the button next to the shift to give you the slash, and B2. Bless you. And enter. That's not a percentage though, is it? No. And to find percent, move the decimal place, you place to the right, you can times by 100, or you could use the format. So let's go back up to that, and we don't really want that many decimal places, I only want 2. So go back up to that cell, D2, and then you can right click. Go all the way down to format cell. Click. Mine says general. I would like to do a percent with 2 decimal places. That's how I want that cell to look. Oh, you're doing the wrong. C2 divided by E, that one. And then we want B2. All right? So, percentage, 2 decimal places. And hit OK.
Got it.
Now, do we have to do that 11 more times? No. You can just drag your formula down. You take your little black thin cross in the corner, drag it down, and stop. And it'll do all the percents for you. And it'll keep it in a percent, and it will give it 2 decimal places. Like you don't have to format every single cell individually. Okay? So which month are we, oh, I like 1 month, look at July. Yeah, 0%. But which month are we spending the most amount of time in school? Would be April, ooh, April, and October. I wonder when our break is.
Easter's early.
Easter must be early this year. This school year. And which month, besides June and July and August, because those are the summer months, do we spend the least amount? It looks like December. We do have a nice little break. We're gonna make one more percentage. We're gonna see the percent of days in school yearly.
It puts it in decimals, so you're gonna change it.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cell C2, which is 19 days of January, and divide that by 365. See how much time out of the whole school year. That's just how much time in the month. So when you were looking at the gray column, a lot of your days of that month, you're gonna be in school. And obviously in June, July, and August you won't be, but let's see per year. So if I do an equals up in E2, what do I want? C2, which is my days of school, and I want to divide that, oh, I got a space in there. I want to divide that by 365, because it's 365 days in a year. And hit enter. I want to see what percentage out of the whole year, not just a month, am I spending in January, in school. Now I don't want that ugly looking decimal, so I want to right click on that, go down the format cell, type %, and mine's already set up, 2 decimal places, okay. So in January, it's only 5% of the whole year that I'm in school, is in January. Now I'm going to drag those percentages all the way down, a little black cross, drag it down. What?
I like watching them cut up.
Yeah, like just, you need like a noise with it, don't you? I can make it, we should have something. Now I do want to total that column, and I don't want to drag my formula over because I don't want to total the percentages of the month. So I am going to do an equals sum. I'm going to take the sum of that column, parenthesis, drag it down and hit enter. 50% of the year you spend in school. Do you think it's more than that? You probably think you spend more days in the year, but you don't. I mean, days in school. I realize like on the weekends in October, you are still in school, but you're not at school. So the times that you're physically here. Now there's a whole other column I was going to put with days being absent and all that, but I thought, no, we don't even want to get into that. So when you think about it, only 50% of your days are spent at school. Now you guys are going to have more days spent at school because you're here for the SRI. We are going to make a bar graph, this is the last thing we're going to do. We're going to make a bar graph of the days of the month and compared to the school days. And we're just going to put that in and see the difference in a bar graph. We're going to actually have 3 things we're going to have to highlight. We're going to use the month column, the days of the month, and the days of school. None of the percentages, though, are going to be part of our graph, and none of the totals are going to be part of our graph. Okay? So, we want to highlight from A1, the month, down to December, and over to 15 days of school in December, and let go of that. Like, so those first 3 columns, don't highlight the totals, and don't go over to the percentages. That's all you want highlighted. Then we're going to go up to Insert, which is up top here. And I'm going to go over to the right, Recommended Charts, and I'm going to insert a column chart, and I'll do 3D. I'll do this first one. And here's my chart. Should I do it again?